Okay, one of the most common questions I get asked is like, when do you swap heroes, right? When's a good time to swap? And that's a bit of a broad question, but I'll do my best to answer it in the best way that I can. They're swapping heroes and they're swapping strategies. Naturally, when you swap heroes, you're going to naturally swap strategies a lot of times. Namor is the good one to use as an example because of the fact that his squids auto target anybody that happens to be within range. Squids sort of auto peel for your supports. Now, when I play Psylocke, because of the fact that I'm just more comfortable on Psylocke, I will typically, if I need to, and I realize that flankers are a problem, I will go into peel mode, in which I will try and peel the flankers off of my supports, and then engage in on the team, and not just flank the entire game, right? So I can still do similar results to what would happen if I naturally switched to Namor, but I just change my strategy to fit a hero I'm more comfortable on. But there are times where you need to swap a hero because of the fact that you're lacking something as a team. Typically, if you have trouble taking space and holding on to the objective, it means you lack a tank presence. But if you already have two tanks and they're still unable to take that space, then it could be due to a lack of sustain. Maybe the tanks don't feel like they can stay in the fight long enough because they don't have enough health to walk in or stay in. Or it could be the fact that, you have the space, you have the tanks, but stuff isn't dying quickly enough. Then perhaps there is a damage or a DPS issue where either the DPS are unable to secure the kills fast enough, and you might need something a bit more consistent in damage, or the DPS might be having a bad day, and someone on your team might need to switch it up. But I'm going to walk you through here a game that I played where I was Captain America, and I ended up switching off of Cap when I realized I just wasn't able to provide the same value that I was the first round. We had won the first round, and the second round, they had made a swap to an Iron Fist, which an Iron Fist and a Mr. Fantastic, which was giving our my team a lot of trouble. And as soon as I see the Iron Fist here, I try to like peel him back. But Cap has a bit of a difficult time, against characters that can, of course, be airborne a lot. And Iron Fist just walks away. And I had a hard time with my teammates who were kind of just like up there, isolated away, and I couldn't help any of them. Uh, so I focused on just staying down on the point. The Namor pick was also a swap because of the fact that we had like a lot of flankers. They did that in the middle of like the last round. But once we started to just lose our team because we were just getting picked off, I just walked away. I couldn't assist anybody here, right? I feel very limited in the fact that, yeah, I'm playing Cap. I'm not necessarily performing poorly, but just because of the fact that I don't have anything I need to do and my team is all separating away from me, right? So I am unable to help them or assist them. So here I'm just trying to do a little bit of damage so I can force their tanks back so I can get my team a little bit of space, and I realize that my Black Panther has died already. So it's really unfortunate timing. I try to peel the Iron Fist off of my back line, and I ult at the same time as my support ults, so it's a huge giant waste. I go in to try and follow up with what my Cloak and Dagger is doing, but like we've already lost people by this point. Like the odds of us like sort of winning this fight is pretty slim. And I realize that I'm doing damage, but nothing is falling over, right? This is one of those scenarios where, especially with like, I see the enemy DPS is really doing numbers on my team, and I'm lacking damage as tank, that I'm starting to take note of sort of the issue, right? Like, I know a lot of people have trouble with Iron Fist, but I know I don't have trouble with Iron Fist if I'm on Psylocke. So I'm keeping this in mind as I'm watching my team sort of struggle in this moment. And I see Squirrel Girl there, which is not like the best person to go against with Iron Fist, I think. So he gets bursted. He gets saved by Invisible Woman. Thing gets him out. And I'm just not doing enough damage to take care of these people fast enough. So creating space as Captain America is really not doing me any good. My team is getting ulted, so I try to push back their supports to create space, so that way Thing isn't getting any backup. Mr. Fantastic is another one that's like very difficult to kill, and I don't really have a whole lot of burst as Cap. It's okay, but it's still, I could do it faster. Here's another situation where I see Cloak and Dagger is in her bubble, but I don't want her healing her team, so I'm just trying to finish her off real quick. And now I'm just trying to jump on the support some more. But I find myself at this point in the game where I'm just constantly feel like I'm tickling everybody and there's not enough damage coming out. Um, I see that my team is still struggling even against this tank. And here's another situation where I'm trying to close that gap and I'm trying to get these kills and I just can't seem to get that last hit a lot of times and I can't do it quickly enough, right? And now I end up wasting my ult here. This is one of those situations where I'm like, it feels like nothing's dying, right? It feels like nothing's dying, but my team is dying too quickly. We have control over the point. We have, people on the point. We have tanks on the point, but stuff isn't dying quickly enough. Because I whip every single punch. And I was also just sort of like, I played better on cap first round, slightly. And I was just sort of having trouble this round. So I move up to try and control the space and keep them back. Getting pushed away, which is fine. It pulls out resources early. Throwing my shield to charge my ult. I'm sort of just like buying, like wasting their time here, trying to like keep them from engaging in on my team. That was really good lockdown. So I'm using the cover here. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go and what I want to do. When I hear somebody's on the back, I go back to peel the Iron Fist. The Invisible Woman ult makes it difficult, and I see that my other DPS dies again. In a lot of these fights here, I noticed that my DPS were typically the ones dying first. They were kind of struggling up against these hero swaps that they made, right? The Iron Fist was Captain America in the first round, and then they went to a solo tank, and that was when I started to take notice of the fact that I was like, oh, they're not running 2-2-2. So here, my team is just sort of getting run over, and now at this point, this is the moment I specifically remember getting super annoyed by this Iron Fist, and I was like, okay. My team is struggling. My DPS are typically the ones dying first. They're not able to adapt to the changes that the enemy team has made. And one of the DPS on my team decided he thinks that there needs to be a bit more sustain in order to survive the burst. And he's not entirely wrong. That's a good, alternative. That's a good option to do. For me, though, talking with him, I realized I was like, you know what? They seem to be only running one tank. I am going to switch to Psylocke, and I am going to try and duel the Iron Fist because I'm more comfortable on the on Psylocke, and I feel that I could diff the Iron Fist. I feel like I could take care of him. And also, I decided because of the fact that I would have the Emma Frost team up, which is really powerful on Psylocke right now.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And it took a little while for me to switch because of the fact that I was discussing it with my team to make sure that we all had the proper swaps before going in. So here I'm going in, and now I'm going to try and find and deal with sort of the problems, right? Like the problems are their DPS are kind of like running around circles on our team. And I am going to go and try and deal with said problem. I see the thing is overextended. I can apply damage safely from behind that middle piece there. And I go right back up to trying to make sure I can deal with the Iron Fist. Deal with the squids, so make sure I'm alive. I jump into the Cloak and Dagger ult so I can stay alive. And now we seem to have more pressure as we are able to finish off and execute the team a lot more easily. Like, the problem before wasn't my teammates, being bad. It was just we needed to switch up our team comp to provide, more damage and slightly more sustain with the Adam Warlock pick and me on Psylocke. It's not that I can't play Captain America. It's just that it didn't fit right for what we were going up against, especially going up against triple DPS. So here I'm getting into position, trying to keep an eye out for them. I see that Iron Fist comes out and Star-Lord gets a quick and easy kill. I don't know where his block went, but I get a free little ult on the back here. And my team is fighting on the point, dealing with the thing, and I end up dying, but it's okay. I still managed to pick off 2 in my ult. My team picked off the tank on the point, and I get back pretty quick. So it's unfortunate, but
Mission area. Keep going.
that happens. Sometimes your team is just distracted and dealing with their current problem, right? And this is something I want to bring up. People sometimes are, wondering like, oh, why didn't my team heal me? Why didn't my team see me? Or why didn't my team put resources into me after I made this big play? Because your teammates might already be trying to solve a different problem they're having. They might be trying to deal with a player who's still alive. They might not necessarily see you, or they might not have the resources because they need to use the resources on somebody else or something else was happening in that moment. I went for a play. I made a good play. However, it was just, both of us were doing 2 separate things and we both technically succeeded. It's just they were busy handling their own problem at the moment. They couldn't immediately switch to me quickly enough. So here I go back in and I see that the Iron Fist is engaging on my team. So I am trying to keep him at bay. I don't feel like I'm going to be able to do anything against the Iron Fist there, so I start attacking the backline. And the Namor is kind of like one of my priority picks because if I kill him, then I don't have to worry about the squids. At this point, I'm just charging my ult because of the fact that the Invis Woman ult, there's not much I can do. And I know that we're probably going to lose the point. So I'm going to dash on and die with my team and get a couple more percentage. Gonna respawn with my team here. We're gonna regroup, but luckily at 88%, we generally speaking only need to win one really good fight in order to secure it. I hear footsteps above me, so this is where I hear the Iron Fist, and I tell people, I'm like, hey, Iron Fist is above, right? And when you know, and you can hear the footsteps, especially listen for those footsteps, because when you can hear the footsteps of a flanker, you know the moment you start to engage, a lot of times they're going to want to try and flank your backline. I am looking back behind me because of the fact that I am always paranoid and I am always ready for this flanker. I don't need to switch to Namor to auto peel. I can manually do it myself. So I am constantly paying attention to the backline while providing pressure on the front. And now that I see him here, I go and I engage in on him. I get him to use his block. He doesn't really get too much of a shield out of it. And I chase him down. Now it's unfortunate that my team dies to the Mr. Fantastic ult, but I still performed my job, which was completing, taking care of the flanker who was going to be on my backline soon, and making sure that he didn't have quick and easy picks on our supports. With ults going off, I see that there's someone outside of the support ults, which are over here. So I try to go for him instead. Grab the health pack, keep my team alive, or keep myself alive. Ult the point, and I get a very lucky pick on the Namor, and here I die, but I know it's okay because the Adam Warlock has his res. I get myself healed back up, and now I start to follow up on what my Emma Frost is doing. I immediately go right back in onto the support so I can try and take care of her before I take care of everybody else. And now you see in this round, things are dying a lot more quickly. Instead of trying to chase around the Iron Fist or chase around, the Namor as he bubbles, or deal with all the supports and everything as Captain America, I couldn't do a whole lot of damage to secure these kills. So I needed to switch to a character that could do more damage and either hit characters from farther away or be more mobile so that way I could keep up with them. And now in this round, it was a lot easier to play because of the fact that we just had the damage to finish people off a lot quicker. We didn't need the tank presence, right? Because we always were able to get to the point. We could get to the point. We just couldn't get anything done when we were there. So once I made the switch to adding more damage, as well as Adam Warlock being able to add damage as well as sustain, the enemy team wasn't as difficult to go up against. So here I get out of the Invisible Woman ult because there's just nothing else I can do here. I should probably be pumping in damage to try and charge my ult, but I also didn't want to be attacked and have to reload when Iron Fist came in. So now that we're relying on the support ults and I am missing every shot here, I am trying to finish off these supports, and I am not putting myself at risk. I see that my team is out there, so I go back to regroup with them. I see Star-Lord here. I'm trying to force him out and keep him back. And I get the quick execute on him. I'm going to rejoin with my team. I don't want to go out in front of the Namor because I'm low, but luckily, because of the fact that we had the advantage in the point, I wasn't too worried. I just wanted to keep the Star-Lord off the point as well. And that was it, you know? Like I said, generally speaking, there's lots of different ways to sort of see what you need. And a lot of times it gets very difficult because of the fact that, teams tend to get a little bit tilted at times when it feels like, they feel like they can't do anything. They feel like there's a team diff. When in all actuality, what you need is to swap the strategy or you need to swap the heroes around, right? Uh, when there's flankers, switching to Namor, like, dealing with a Spider-Man, Namor's squids will automatically deal with Spider-Man. But that doesn't mean that you can't swap the strategy around where if you're playing Hela, you can still deal with Spider-Man by just simply targeting him more often, right? You can swap the strategy with your current heroes, or you can swap the heroes to help assist with that strategy, or both. But, if you find that you're having no trouble getting to the objective and being on the objective, but you have trouble finishing and securing kills, there might be, need for 3 DPS or maybe even a tank that does more damage. If you find that you're getting to the point and you're getting kills, but your DPS, you can get a kill, but then it takes too long to heal back up before you can re-engage again, you might need more heals. But, there's also always the strategy too, the different positioning and stuff like that too. Like sometimes people are just naturally taking more damage, and they need to position a little bit better and a little bit smarter in order to uh, get healed up to full before going back in. But there's only so much that you have in your control, so use your best judgment, right? If you are playing the game and you see and you think that, like, you might need more damage but you still need sustain, Adam Warlock's a good option. Invisible Woman does some decent damage too, as well as heals. But yeah, or if you find that you're just lacking tank presence, like you get control over the objective, but then you lose it very quickly, you might need somebody like The Thing or Emma Frost or Strange, somebody who can sit on the point and just hold it there for you guys and allow your DPS time to get kills. There are a lot of times where, I've done 1 tank, 3 DPS, and 2 support, and it's worked. And other times where it hasn't worked, but as a team, we collectively agree, just like, oh, we just need more of a tank presence here on point, so that way we can give us more time to secure our kills. Talk it over with your team, see what you can do. And even if your team doesn't want to swap, still try to swap to what can bring your team more value. But if you're bringing value with your character and you feel confident that that's the character you can bring the most value on, you don't necessarily have to swap. There's been plenty of games where I'm 26-4 and my team is 12-12, and sometimes there's just only so much that you can do, right? But yeah, do the best you can. Play it by ear. It's going to have to be a judgment call in the moment, and you're not always going to get it right. But the more you practice it, the more you swap it up, the more you try these things, the more you're going to learn. So yeah, I hope that helps sort of cover like the general idea of like when you might want to swap and when you might want to stick with it. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And thanks for watching.